Hey, welcome back to Tuskegee Geeks, where we help you get your geek on with your comic books and movies and TV shows of ilk of sci-fi, fantasy, and just plain straight out geekdom of having fun, as we nerds or geeks like to do. Uh, I will call, and next time I think we'll try to do a show with John Michael. He's out of the picture right now. It is early in the morning on Saturday. One of the I think it was what the next to the last Saturday of the month of October. And as you can see from the shirt that I'm wearing, obviously I went down to Tuskegee last weekend and I hung out with John Michael and a bunch of other folks from Tuskegee for homecoming. Had a fantastic time. Brought my family with me. Uh, Shout outs to tons of folks, particularly my man Bert Grissom, who fed us and took care of us, and the folks who helped Bert and his folks who were tailgating. Oh man, it was such a great time. Um, anyway, regardless of that, got some straight nice gear, as you can see, new gear that I'm wearing, and just a glorious time. Today, I'm going to share with you some books. Still, as you see from the title of the show, Baltimore Comic Con, which happened a month ago. Uh, so I still have some books there that I bought from Baltimore Comic Con, but I'm also going to share some books with you that Brother John Michael and I we exchange books when we see each other because Tuskegee's only like 2 hours away from Atlanta. So got a chance to hang out with him after the homecoming festivities at his home. So I really just I'm excited about showing you some books, and it's a lot of books, so I want to hurry up and get on the way. But these are graded books that came back from CBCS that were autographed. Uh, Now, don't do like what I did at when I went to Baltimore Comic Con. If you have the grading, if you have comic book grading uh, folks or teams there, like CGC and CBCS, and both were at Baltimore Comic Con. Uh, Typically, what you do is go to the table before you go to an artist or a writer to get an autograph, have them escort you to the writer and or the writer or the artist uh, to witness a signature. I did not do that. I did not have them follow me around. So I ended up paying more for my autograph witnessing that CBCS did because they knew all those different artists and writers were there for the books I'm about to show you. But I ended up paying more per book for the autograph. So don't do what I did. If they're there at a show, have them escort you to the artist or the writer and have them witness the autograph. And then, even if they have to follow you around a bunch or whatever, but at least they know what the books that you've had witnessed and they're there witnessing the autograph. And so, without further ado, um, there's a book I had signed by Adam Hughes, Catwoman number 51. This is not just an infamous book, but it's a truly popular book, and it's a pretty valuable book. But the Catwoman with her mugshot that he did. This is 2006. Pretty valuable book, and it's gorgeously done by Adam Hughes. Good dude. Uh, had a long line of folks trying to get his autograph, of course, because it's Adam Hughes. But I'm happy to get his autograph on that book. It's 9.8, pretty doggone good. So this one here is one of the books that I did. If you go back into the archives of Tuskegee Geeks, and as you can see, why we named it Tuskegee Geeks, we just took off the T and the U and put the number 2 in front of it. So that's why it's Tuskegee Geeks. But anyway, regardless of that, go back in the archives. This is a book that Rodney Barnes signed for me when I did the Rodney Barnes interview. He came to Annapolis, Maryland, and I hung out with him as well as interviewed him. So it's a great interview, but this is his book, Philadelphia, with his autograph. I'm sorry, down here. Proud to have it. I'm sad it came back as a 9.0, but I'm still glad to have Rodney Barnes's autograph on this book as a 9-0. That was Philadelphia #1. Next one I had signed by Mark Waid. Now, this was at Baltimore Comic Con, and he was literally there. And I had his autograph. And Mark Waid, I can't believe how few people were at his table um, for the genius that is Mark Waid. I mean, Mark Waid has been doing it and writing tons of books for years, many years, probably close to 30 years. But this is one of his most well-known books of all time, Kingdom Come, rendering of DC Universe that is a one-shot. I believe it's 4 books altogether. And if you can't see it here, it says Elseworld. So it's kind of like it doesn't affect the DC regular tellings of stories in the regular comic book DC universe, but this offshoot is amazing. This story here, get yourself the trade paperback and read this book. And I think we've talked about it on other shows, but amazing story that you should read. But I'm glad mine came back as a 9.2. Disappointed it's not a 9.8, of course, anything, but that's okay. 9.2 is still top shelf. This book was signed by Brian Stelfreeze, another fantastic artist, and we talked about him from last year's Baltimore Comic Con, and he was there this year again. This one came back as an 8.5, and what was really cool, as Brian always gives great tabletop or table interviews, right there, or just talks, table talks, even better. And what I love about it is the fact that I had 2 copies of this. I gave one to Brother John Michael when I went down to Tuskegee, and both of them came back as 8.5s. And regardless of the story with Brian Stelfreeze, is the fact that this was a shot that he took of his actual barber. Now, don't get me wrong, the people on the comic book cover are superheroes, so but the barber depicted cutting hair is actually his barber in Atlanta. And so I'm very proud to have this book because it's just cool that Brian just took the time to do a book that was very life-based. And yeah, real cool characters, Luke Cage, Storm, Misty, I can't think, I want to say Misty Daniel, but I can't off the top of my head, but part of the Luke Cage crew, and one of the new Black Panther characters, and I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. But yeah, anyway, real cool. 8.5. Sad it couldn't come back higher, but it's okay. Still got a signed book by Brian Stelfreeze. Okay, this is one, again, going back to Rodney Barnes. But this is one when I bought the book, I bought it from the artist from his website exclusively, Jason Shawn Alexander. I talked about this a long time ago when we did the Rodney Barnes series. But so Rodney Barnes has signed it here, and Jason Shawn Alexander signed it there. But I bought it from Jason Shawn Alexander's website, and as you see, it came back a 9.8 for Anita Hall's Nightmare blog, #1. And just a proud book to have. It's a virgin cover, and it stayed well kept all that time before I got it autographed and signed. And it's in beautiful shape, and it came back at 9.8. I'm very proud of that. Rodney Barnes and Jason Shawn Alexander signed. Now going back to books from Baltimore Comic Con that I purchased. I purchased this at Baltimore Comic Con and got it signed at Baltimore Comic Con by the artist Tom Mandrake. So this is a Tom Mandrake book with a glow-in-the-dark cover of The Spectre, #8. I probably have a better version of this that would have came back with a higher grade, but I'm still very proud to have a book from 1993. It came back a 6.5 and signed by Tom Mandrake, the artist. He is the cover and internal artist. Tom Mandrake is a monster as well. Look up his work, but tons of Spectre books, as well as, I believe, possibly, I think, The Demon as well from the 90s. But Tom Mandrake and lots of Justice League books as well. Again, and he created the character from Batman, the Black Mask. That's in the last Harley Quinn movie, The Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, the villain in it. So Tom Mandrake is the creator of the Black Mask. And so that is Tom Mandrake's autograph. Here is one signed by Ron Mars. And Ron Mars is typically known for his stuff that he did on Green Lantern. But I had him sign this on my Darth Maul #1 book. And not only did he sign the book, and Ron's autograph is down here, but the artist on the book is Jan Duursema, or Duursema. She signed it as well. She, the artist, was at the cover artist of this book was also, no, not the cover artist, but the internal artwork. The internal artwork, I believe. Yes. Yeah, because I can't remember who the cover artist is. I'll have to look it up, and I'll put that into the edits of the video. But anyway, Jan Duursema is the internal artist, and I wish I could get the cover artist. Cover artist is he did a lot of movie poster artwork for tons of different movies. But sadly, I don't have his autograph. I wish I could and did. I wish he was there. But regardless of that, Jan Duursema and Ron Mars are the two autographs on this book. It came back at 9.4 on my Darth Maul #1. And Ron was, as I said before, Ron Mars is typically known for the work that he did on Green Lantern, in which he took a break when he finished his run on Green Lantern, is when he completed this Darth Maul book. And he was a great table talk as well. Had a pretty decent sized line, but not a great line, but a pretty decent sized line. I didn't have to wait too long for it, but for his autograph. But this is a pride. I'm very proud of this book here, with Darth Maul being one of my favorite Star Wars characters, as a 9.4, signed by both artist and the writer. And then, speaking of Jan Duursema, now she did do the cover on this one. And this Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi 0, number 0. She is the cover artist on this one, and it came back at 9.6 by Jan Duursema. Very proud to have this one as well. And she was very kind, such a sweet woman, very humble. I believe she did a lot of work on the I think it's the comic book Arion. I have to look that up. And so don't shoot me if I'm incorrect, but Arion, the DC book from the 80s, I believe. But I'll have to look up some of her stuff and put it in the comments. But I believe it's Arion, and I say that because there was one of the other persons who were coming to get Mr. Seema's autograph. She was a follower of Mr. Seema's artwork, and had some of the books that Jan did back in the 80s. But such a sweet woman, and humble, so nice. Didn't have a lot of people around her table either. And as you can see, it's a shame, because at the quality of her artwork, she should have had a ton of folks around getting autographs. Anyway, now the book that I had to wait the longest for, and it's understandable, because these folks here are kings of comic books. The two next books I'm going to show you, and they come every year to Baltimore Comic Con. But my Thor Number 337, first appearance of Beta Ray Bill, signed by Walt Simonson. This was the best one I had in my collection. I'm sad it came back as an 8.5. Thought it'd come back a little higher, but that's okay. Walt Simonson signed. Yeah, long line for that one. And that were, yeah, the Simonsons, Walter and Louise Simonson, they did have a long line of folks. But they were so sweet as well. Older couple, but they take care of each other, and they also take care of the fans. They take time with each person to talk with everyone. That's for, not just for the long lines because of the extensive, voluminous work that they've done. Walt being a writer and an artist, because this is all Walt, inside out, the whole thing. This is all Walter, and so I'm proud he came back as an 8.5. But uh, they they're genuinely good folk. And then finally, first appearance of Apocalypse on this X Factor number 6, written by Louise Simonson. And again, and if you were talking about, we don't have a lot of females are not well known in the industry, but this one here by Louise Simonson, as you can see her autograph across the bottom, she is a giant in the business. And this X Factor series that she wrote is superb. In fact, this is about the time when she took over doing X Factor, doing the writing, because the first 5 books, I believe, were not her, or maybe the first 4, something like that. But this is when she took over, and this is when the whole series really just flipped on its head and went bananas when she took over the writing. And I remember those books because I was attending Tuskegee. I was home for summer break, and I believe this is '89. I want to say, is that right? No, '86, July of '86. Okay, it was the first summer I came home. Yeah. Oh, no, just before I went to Tuskegee. Yeah, before I went to Tuskegee. Okay, so I'm done with the CBCS books, and I want to make sure I'm being respectful of your time. So I want to go through some books real fast that I picked up or that have come in around the time with keeping in the Tuskegee mode. Books that were at the doorstop waiting for me when I came in from Tuskegee. This book here, this magazine, First Blade in the Magazine. And this is this is number 3. I think this is one I believe he meets Deacon somebody. I can't think of the name, but one of the mentors of Blade to be a vampire hunter and a vampire slayer. But I believe that's what this is. And it's not in fantastic shape. It's okay. If I ever got it graded, I would expect probably no more than between a 3 and a 4.0. But I'm proud to have that book in my collection. This is Star Wars Legacy, number 2. This is a second print. It's a rarer and a more higher demanded book. Kind of pricey. I thank God I didn't pay for it. I kind of, like, as I said, they say eBay sniping. Well, I sniped this one, and I kind of got off with a bargain of this one. And this is an Adam Hughes cover, not signed by Adam Hughes, but he always does the AH for his autographs, regardless of whether he's on the cover of the artwork he does or when you get an autograph, he's still going to sign an AH. But this is an Adam Hughes cover. Came back as a 9.8. Very proud to have this one in my collection because it's much more. It's worth much more than what I paid for it. And then I'm going to share with you some books that Brother John Michael exchanged while I was in Atlanta visiting his home. So we could try to keep you all in the family in the Tuskegee family. This book here, I'm very proud that he shared this with me. Amazing Spider-Man number 149, the first appearance of the Jackal. and also the beginning of the Clone Wars, the first Spider-Man clone as well. Really, really cool. And I won't say the Clone Wars, but the first Spider-Man clone. How about that? And then the Clone Wars back in the late 90s or in the 90s or the 80s, years later, and they had Spider-Man clone story, and people were tired of the clone story. But this is where the beginning of, or the concept of a Spider-Man clone began. Um, John Romita, artist, and Jerry Conway is the writer on this book here. 7.5. Thank you. Thank you, Brother John Michael. I'm very proud to have this one and add it to the collection. And this is one he ordered from Bry's Comics in this controversial book by Gabriel Dell'Otto, Spider-Man number 26. Again, I'm proud to have this as a 9.8 that he bought from Bry's Comics. It does have a certificate of authenticity. John already had one for himself, but he bought two, and I reimbursed him for what he paid for the second copy. But for this controversial book, and I'm not going to go into it because, Bry's Comics, they do what they do. I'm just glad that I have a 9.8 in the book, and sometimes generating value of your books. I hope it works out for him in the long run. I don't know, but regardless of it, doesn't take away from the beauty of the book. Gabriel Dell'Otto kills the cover. Amazing, very simple, but very beautiful, very gorgeous. And again, proud to have that in the collection. And let's see here. You're going to go through some things real fast. This is waiting on me from the mail coming in. Star Wars Inside of the Ahsoka cover. And since Ahsoka series just ended, this is Star Wars Insider magazine cover that they did. This says it's a souvenir edition for Ahsoka, and she's still wearing the gray. This came in as well. Tale of the Zombie, and I always get things, as you know, if you listen to the show, I always get things about voodoo. And so I had to get this when I saw it on eBay. Very proud to have this in my collection as well. And I won't belabor you guys too much longer. Like I said, I've got a ton of books. I've got this big bag of books I want to share with you, but I don't want to share them with you today because I've been with you too long with these. And we'll do this next time. And I'll probably make another show this week for about my Tuskegee trip. But these are books that I bought from the Book Nook that John and I always go to off of North Druid Hills in Atlanta. It's one of our favorite spots. If you haven't been to the Book Nook in Atlanta, go. Lots of great books to be gotten there. Lots of great bargains, both old books and new. The price of their comic book supplies are the prices are very reasonable, and I'm always a loyal customer to those cats whenever I go to Atlanta, and I was grateful that I had time to go spend time over there at the Book Nook. And like I said, I'll do a show in a few days and post and go through these books, as well as a few other books that I had from Baltimore Comic Con. And it will be the last of the Baltimore Comic Con books. So let's wrap this up. Please like and subscribe to our show. I appreciate you spending time with us. Again, shout out to my alma mater, Mother Tuskegee. So glad to have been there, and I'm glad to share some of what Tuskegee has done for me and put me in the position to be able to share some of my knowledge with you and the home that I'm in, because it's God knows this degree helped pay for the home that I'm sitting in. And so I'm grateful for Tuskegee. I'm grateful to my parents that allowed me to go there. Shout out to you, Sam and Maud. Love you both, even though you're gone from here. And we'll talk to you soon. Tuskegee Geeks out. Peace.